think it's black. Hello, hello. Type in here. Morning, everyone. Let me just check if everything is in order. I think my sound is on. Yeah, I can hear myself. Okay, perfect. Welcome back, guys. Unfortunately, we have to go back to these online classes. I was hoping I wouldn't talk to you guys again through here, but this is the case. So last time we stopped at turtle, I believe. That was our last lesson. So I'll quickly recap all we did in the turtle lesson. These are just recaps, lessons from the stuff that we've been doing in the gym. So we did a lot of turtle attacks when we're training with the dummies. And now we're gonna look at the turtle escapes. Alright. So we went over last time about the controlling scenarios and the transitions we can do from our turtle guard. So here are the main kind of three things you can do from turtle. We have the control, the transitions, and the submissions. Those are our main ones. Front headlock and rear turtle are the most popular ones. I'll quickly blast through the recap lesson, and if you're interested in this lesson, you'll be on YouTube, so you can watch that one. So we move on to the escapes. But here's our turtle switch. I think I'm lagging a bit behind, but I'm not sure if it's the audio or the thing. Turtle switch happens when someone's leaning with double underhooks. That's a really good time for you to do that move. We learn more about it when we're doing the counters. Same for these. We'll skip these because these are in the counter lessons. But here's our front headlock control. We have our knees off the mat, sprawl into the back of the neck, create as much pressure as you can, and that's pretty much it. How to control someone from the front headlock scenario. You obviously want to do this while you're active, so constantly moving, creating pressure, not letting someone grab your legs. And then we go on to our attacks from the front headlock scenarios. We have first up the guillotine. Best used when whoops, what happened? A bit frozen. Hold on. Yeah, like I was saying, the guillotine is best used when someone's chasing your legs without protecting the neck. Like in this case here, she's reaching for my neck, so I shoot for the neck. Can be arm in, arm out, depends on what style you have. We have Anaconda, which in the chain that we did was used when someone starts kind of hand fighting your chin strap or grabbing your fingers. So you hide your hand on the triceps there, push that in, and then roll underneath. So you can use your Anaconda. We have the fast choke, which is the fast side version of the Dars, where we walk to the other side, shoot the arm in. You can lie under or you can roll the person. And the last one we did in terms of submission was the Peruvian necktie, where we jump up, throw our legs behind, and try to rip the guy's head off. That was all from the front headlock attacks. Okay, so I haven't done anything on the side. So for the side lesson, we did the crucifix, which was we take our standard harness grip, we isolate the arm, and that's our crucifix entry. Okay, there's many ways to isolate the arm, but that's just one example right there. we have the one arm. These are the most common moves taught. We have the one arm choke, which is just after you isolate the wrist with your legs, you start opening up their chin and digging in for this one arm choke. We have the arm bar. This is quite a popular one. Quite tricky to get. You have loads of practice so you can get the right angle. But you're just lowering into the arm and trying to arm bar them with your hips. Arm triangle was the last one. This is from a different case. For all of our moves, kind of, we looked at front headlock and side, which is the most popular. So this one's kind of a back move. You're directly behind the person, and you're just timing their roll so you can wedge yourself in to a arm triangle like this. It's quite useful. The main reason why we didn't do much back versions of it, because we don't use it as much in no-gi. In the gi is really good, but in no-gi we kind of don't stand too much behind the person. That's just due to leg locks, entries, and you can get kind of in trouble. And then our traditional kind of moves, standard direct knee, where we take the back, shoot your knee in, look for the second hook. Hook entry, this is where instead of the first hook, we insert the near side hook first, so this one. And our truck entry is the fancy one. We switch our base, insert our knee through, pull the person backwards, or roll forward to get your truck scenario. That's our truck entry. Okay, so hopefully that's just a brief little recap on what we did. Like I said, all of those moves and details, I explained it in the previous video, but today we're looking at turtle escapes. So turtle escapes can be quite fun, because turtle is a guard on its own, so you can get very good at just turtle moves. We already learned on how the person on top should base correctly, right? So they have a front headlock grip, as much weight as possible in the back of the neck, and the legs nicely away from their arms. So our first counters are going to be from the front headlock, where the person is not doing this, so they don't have a good base. And we kind of already saw them. The first one's a turtle switch. This is where a lot of beginners do this. They think a squirrel is with double overhooks like this, okay, which leaves them very vulnerable to this move, where we base up, kind of knee slide through, opening our chest and taking their back instead. Sorry, my thing keeps changing really quick. So one more time, here's the turtle switch. Switch, slide through, take that back. A lot of times, people hug you so hard over here that they'll actually fall as you do this move. She kind of let go loosely, so I get to take the back. If the person doesn't let go loosely, they probably fall and you end up on top. But just remember, if someone does this double overhooks on you, punish them with this turtle switch. Single leg is the other one. I think most people rely on this one. If you see that leg, just grab it, pull it in towards you, and start running to the side. And that's the reason why we want to create that nice strong base from our front headlock. So this is the correct way. Pressure on the back of the neck, legs away from the person, so that if she reaches for your leg, she can't grab it, and she can't do the turtle switch at this one because I don't have the double overhooks. Okay, So that's pretty much half of our front headlock kind of position. Then we just have to deal with the transitions or the submissions. So we know the first transition is to run to the back. That's what most people do. So here Christine runs to the back and she's looking for the hooks. Okay, that's the most common one. So knowing that, we should expect that transition and be ready for it. If we can catch their leg by bringing our arm around the person to grab it, we kind of end up in a nice little single leg scenario. So it will be this one. So as she's running here, it's a bad angle, but my right arm went out and it's gonna hook that leg. Then I got my hands together here, create that gable grip, and we start running towards the back once again. You can catch quite a lot of people with this because they're not used to it. That's why you always want to control the arm before you run to the back. Alright, so that was expecting the transitions and stopping it. The next little slices are, so far I've only done static turtling, which is, it happens usually when you sprawl from a double leg or something, or you just end up in turtle. Then we have kind of avoiding points, I call it, back transitions, right? So here someone passes your guard and you've got two choices after they pass your guard. It's either you keep shrimping, okay, which sometimes lead to them getting the pass, or you do a turtle to negate the pass. So here I turtle, she won't end up on side control, but she has a chance of taking my back and choking me, so you have to be quite good at defending your back to be able to avoid the points or to escape the side control scenarios. Okay, so use it at your own risk. But here's a few moves I think most people got to learn in terms of turtling. And the first one is a Granby. This is what I practice at the start of the warm-up. This is where the person passes your guard. I'm going to throw my hips in between us to act like a barrier and swing our legs in a circle to kind of like replace guard. Fundamental rule here to get your what you call your guard back, right? And most good guard players, they're very good at this. That's our Granby. We have our forward bros. So here I'm gonna turtle again, but this time she's directly behind me, so I'm gonna forward roll to get her off of me. Okay, forward roll goes really well when someone's directly behind you, as long as they haven't settled the seat belt or a double underhooks or something. You're generally quite safe to do a forward roll. Doesn't always end well. People can follow you, but these are the main kind of two ways to avoid your guard passing. Hook awareness is something you should develop over time as well. So as I'm turtling, if I leave a massive gap there, very easy for your opponent to insert that knee or hook into the near side or the far side. So to avoid the near hook, keep your elbow very close to your rib cage there. So when you turtle, you can block that space for that knee to come in. It also helps you with the inversions and the Granbys as well. Notice how I can, if I'm ever stuck in these scenarios, I give her a push with my arms to get my legs and hips in between. And this is pretty much half of our little Granby lessons, okay? You can forward roll, backward, not backwards, side roll. We have a move called barrel rolling as well, where we roll on our front to avoid it. But these are kind of must-haves in the turtle scenarios. So we did front headlock and avoiding the hooks. Now it's the side turtle, which is the most common scenario. You kind of put yourself in, or the other person puts themselves in, which is they have a strong seatbelt here, knees close to you, and the other leg spaced. So there's actual quite a few moves that you can try. First one is our telesweep. This is where we're going to step up behind, directly behind the person, trap their wrist, and sit to our hip to roll them over. So one more time, step behind and roll them behind. Many variations to this. You can hug the far leg, you can elbow the person back, but the main thing is to sit onto your hips so the person is not too heavy on top of you, because that's what usually messes you up, the person being too heavy underneath, not underneath but on top of you. A lot of people that don't sit onto their hips, so all of the person's weight goes into their like rib cage, and then it becomes really hard for you to kind of avoid the pressure. To make sure you don't do that. I think this is a better angle for it, so you can see it here. So step up behind and then sit first to the hip. So it should be something really, really smooth and nice. No pressure whatsoever on you, as long as the person on top is in this sort of base. Next up, where'd my mouse go? Sorry. We have the same variation of the wrist of this move, but just with a wrist grab, which is basically this is the only base to this side. So if you can trap it, you can usually roll them to the side, and their move is to jump over. And if they can't jump over in time, you usually end up with a nice sweep like this. But exactly the same sweep as before, but use the wrist strap instead. Then we have kind of combinations to the move we just did. The first one is this run around. This is where you attempt to do the first move, right, which is chucking them backwards, and then they just put all their weight backwards on this knee, right? So you need this leg to be up so you can chuck them in that direction, but they feel you try and do that, so they just drop onto their knee. In that case, we start running behind them, we hook the back of their knee, and we sweep. So one more time. There. But again, try to use them as a combination. So you go move one, which is here, trying to sweep the person towards this side. And the opponent's going to put all their weight backwards on this knee, and that's when you do the second scenario. So both of these sweeps are really good, and if you can switch between one and the other quite quickly, you get really nice little moves. I haven't used much of this move, but I do want to try it. These are the knee collapses, which is the same as this move, but you're kind of forcing it in this case. So the previous one, we kind of work with a pull-push scenario where you're trying to pull the person, doesn't work, so you push and you go behind them. This one, you're kind of forcing it, so you're reaching with your arm to collapse the knee, which can be difficult. And then you're doing a shoulder roll to end up on top. Quite an adventurous move, but if it does work out, you end up in a nice side control scenario. Do be careful rolling. If you roll without tucking your shoulder in, you'll break your collarbone here. So make sure you look away and then roll, because I've seen people roll the wrong directions and breaking their collarbones. Our last little scenario is just being able to pull guard. A lot of people use this, which is just, you can't kind of get any of your moves going because the person is just kind of sprawling on top of you from side, which shouldn't be a move they do usually. So you just got enough space to pull guard and you're all good. That one is most people's kind of standard move. So far we took a look at avoiding points, avoiding the transitions, and then there's lots of options from the side turtle, okay, which is here. So this, if you know what you're doing from this stance, and it's the most common stance people are going to take on you, if you have a chain from here, from the bottom, you're usually a lot safer than most people, okay? Because what most people do, they just try to hide the hooks and they don't really have a plan, and it's just a matter of time before the person on top gets your back. But if you have a plan already from turtle, and you can start it off as soon as you realize you're in the position, you got loads of moves. As we can see, we have the telesweep, it's this one, we have run around sweep, we have the knee collapses with the forward rolls, and we have the pulling guard. So that should be something for you to do, okay? But like I said, the person on top has lots of counters as well. The main one is to roll with you or jump with you, so be aware of that. And you have to develop a little counter to that as well. Our last little counter scenarios are going to be the front headlock submissions. So these are the submissions we looked at on top. First one is the guillotine, where they start attacking your neck. Now, guillotine, you gotta remember a couple of things to keep you safe. The two most fundamental ones would be, one is really early. If you just hand fight, it's kind of as long as they don't have a good grip on you, you're all good. Especially if you get a 2-on-1 on one of their wrists, that means you can always kind of push it away and replace guard. But we're assuming worst case scenarios here, they've got the attack on your neck. The safest thing you can do is jump to the safe side, which is the opposite side of your head. So as they pull, you jump over and you take side control. Now, the leg that's gonna be the real killer is this one here. So when you see them sliding in or jumping in for the guillotine, usually they kind of hook your back with this leg to prevent you from jumping over the top. So just like the transitions, you've got to expect that and kind of block that leg as it comes so you can jump over, otherwise you'll be stuck. One more time. Nice. And if they do it correctly, it will look like this. Let me just find it. So here, I shoot for the guillotine, and my leg's over the top. So you can see my partner in the bottom can't jump over anymore. She's kind of in trouble. And in these scenarios, you've got to roll underneath the person toward this direction, or roll to north south or something to avoid getting tapped. This is the last kind of escape that you can try, and the person topper has to follow you to be able to finish you. So that's our guillotine counter. But just remembering which side to jump on helps a lot. Anaconda counter. This is the late one, so she's fully locked up anaconda there. She rolls me underneath and she's looking for the choke. I'm going to keep both of my arms blocking her legs, and I'm going to try to get my head on top of his chest as much as you can, so I can put lots of weight. And if I can grab that wrist, I can kind of counter Americana her, but it just keeps you in a safe scenario, safe position. As long as you bridge on top of the person, it's harder for them to finish you. Often their arms will tire out or something, and this is just a bonus if you can get it. The early one is to offer them kind of north-south instead. So extend your arm through and just lie underneath. That should hurt their wrist and make them let go. This has to be really early, otherwise you kind of get rolled over before you want to. Dust counter, which is the last one. This one is a tricky one because it's not a common move. But whenever someone goes for this sort of darce on you, you got two general options. The real killer here is your arm being stuck on this side. So you kind of go belly up so you can swing the arm over to this side, if that makes sense. Like that. And then you just end up in a nice north-south position. But of course, if it's tight, you're kind of in trouble, to be honest. That's with any of these chokes. You're gonna struggle if it's a tough situation. But there, boom. Okay, so just to recap, first swing, check if they're what position they're in. So we have front headlock, side, and we have back. If they're doing the front headlock correct, which is this, you're kind of in trouble. You have to avoid the submissions or avoid the transition to the back. But if they have a bad front headlock, like this scenario, you can look for your turtle switches, or you can look for your single legs, reaching over, grabbing the leg. So those should be your first little priorities if they don't have a good base. Avoiding transition is the only thing you can do, or avoiding submissions as well, if they have a very good front headlock. So wait for them to run to the side like this, and when they do, you take their leg and try to counter from there. The side turtle, which is the next one, we have our tele sweeps. Which is that. We have our run around sweep, which works together. 1, 2. Our knee collapse if you're feeling adventurous. Forward roll. And our pulling guard anytime you can. if the person's not doing a good job keeping pressure on you. So that's our side turtle. And then the other scenarios of turtle usually happens from side control to avoid the guy pinning you down. So the first one is our Granby or turtling. So to avoid the points, making sure we don't let the bottom hook go in, so block that as much as you can. Here's our Granby roll. Switch, hips goes in, and roll. Have our forward rolls if the person's directly behind us. Nice. And I think the last one, which I haven't touched yet, this is just explaining the hook awareness. Like I said, it's a better angle for it. But as you turtle, don't turtle on your elbow like that. Tuck your elbow in so that there's no gap in between here for the person to get their knee in. So we've touched pretty much most kind of turtle scenarios. They've all side turtle, front headlock are the main ones. Okay. Sub counters, which is if they go for guillotine, jump to the other side. Anaconda, if you get caught in that, block their legs as much as you can. Darce counter, try to get your elbow to the far side or north south. So if you have if you know where you are, which is front headlock, side turtle, or back kind of scenarios, you should have kind of a game plan for that. Your only other scenario is going to be from the back kind of version of turtle. This is where someone's directly behind you. This is where we often see our knee bar rolls and that kind of stuff. Okay, so here's one little move. I'm directly behind, forward roll into a knee bar, directly behind. A lot of people kind of hook your leg, usually because they're trying to pin you down. So if someone ever hooks your leg like that, you can hook it back and do this little move. The knee bar, they're extremely hard to get, but you often cause a little scramble for you to do. This is a windshield. A lot of people try to kneel on your calves to put some pain on you, so you can do this to them if they do that. It's quite a good move, but only a few people actually do these kind of kneeling on the calf scenarios. And that concludes pretty much our escapes lesson. There's obviously a lot more moves you can do, and we haven't touched actually the person getting a full seatbelt with the hooks. These are all turtles. A lot of scrambles kind of happen while you're doing any of these moves, so always remember that. Anytime someone kind of ends up on your back in turtle scenario, they can jump over, they can switch sides, they can run around you. So it isn't, you're not gonna have as much time as you think to do any of these moves. The counters come a lot easier because you know it's coming. Like any of these sub counters, you definitely have a lot of time to realize that someone's going for your neck, so you can kind of plan your escape one step ahead. While from the front headlock, they can transition pretty quick. They can switch their positions real quick, so be aware of that. Hello, Lise. So yeah. Any questions, fire them away, or send me a message and I'll kind of add it to the next lesson. I kind of forget stuff quite a bit. But today I've got some hello. I got some, what's you call it? Some old videos I found it. Actually, I have a new one, which is Christine finally decided to train with me. So I have some rolling footage of us, and we're just gonna take a look and see our mistakes that we did, if we still remember jiu-jitsu and that kind of stuff. But let's see. This was, I think, 2-3 days ago. We haven't trained in like about 2 months, I think. But is this playing? I can't see. I think it is. But let's see. So this is our mini little dungeon at home. We can fit only one person in, but let's see how this roll goes. I think Chris pulls guard. Straight into De La Riva. And from our De La Riva lesson, most people kind of know the quality is so bad. The first thing I kind of do when someone gets De La Riva on me is to push their shin down, which is here, just to test the hook. And Chris does a really good job here, breaking my posture with this grip. So you can see I kind of put my hand away because I get pulled because it's so strong. And she kind of off balances me to the other side. She attempts a berimbolo here, kind of move away from the wall. And we've been working on this recently. Basically, Chris's counter to my berimbolo usually is, as I start spinning, she always kicks my leg like this. And it's really effective. And we kind of worked out an answer to it, and I was just checking if she remembered, and she didn't remember. That's why I did it to her. So here, she was being really lazy with the legs, that's why I was able to kick it. She didn't remember the counter, but she did come up on top. So she's got top position now. Everyone needs a black belt boyfriend, at least. Especially times like this, where there's no training. So now she's on top. I've been teaching, well, the last 2 days, I've been teaching a lot of passing. Here I'm trying to get the La Riva. She steps over my leg, does a kind of a long step scenario. Now she did something really good here, which you guys missed. Don't know if you can see from this angle, but you can get one at the Black Belt Boyfriend store. Yes. You make a dating app just for jiu-jitsu practitioners. They have an app, not an app, it's a website. Someone made it, I was looking on it on Reddit. Someone made it was a Reddit post. And someone made a website that allows you to find a training partner, because this was because of COVID, everything was locked down. But you're able to find a training partner near you, so you just put your little address so you can train out together. It's really weird, but it's in America though. It doesn't have, I tried Googling it over here, but they don't have anyone in this area. we should make one for London. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes. So she kills my De La Riva hook here, and she's getting quite good at it. It's quite annoying actually, but she kills my De La Riva hook, and she underhooks it, which kind of screws me up. And you're not gonna be able to see the underhook, I don't think. But she's gonna push the De La Riva hook, then she's gonna go underneath it. So that's her reaching underneath right now that you can't see, as she stepped over my leg. So now, there it is. I have basically no guard at the moment. She's killed my De La Riva hook. I have to abort De La Riva and I have to defend this pass. She does a little long step here. Now I'm just kind of keeping my knees in to avoid the pass. She bails out on the pass and she starts distant passing. So this is changing between kind of pressure and direction, which is really good, which is what we've been working on. I block the leading edge anytime I can. She changes direction again. Really nice leg drag here. I can barely get my elbow here to frame to stop the pass. And she ends up with a throw bypass here. So as I replace, she uses my momentum, crushes me down. She does really well. Sup, Sean? Crushes my leg down here, and now I'm in a lot of trouble. So that was a brilliant sequence from her. All of these rows, right? I'm trying as much as I can to not use strength, but it's impossible because she's so quick. So these are generally passes that she's doing on me, so I'm not letting her. Which a lot of times I do let her do stuff, but in these ones, I'm actually just framing as much as I can. I'm trying to use my legs as much as I can as well. But you can see here, she just uses the momentum of my legs. So even if I was using strength here, it wouldn't help me. Because every time I throw a leg over, she switches. There. Here I'm using a bit of strength to frame. But as soon as she realizes that I'm using strength, she goes off over to the other side. So all that strength that I'm using is going all the way in that direction. So I'm helping her there. This is where I'm basically pinned down already. And now she's kind of got two choices here. She can go into a pressure stage. She kind of got off balance a little bit somehow, I'm not sure how. But I've managed to Granby just like the turtle thing that I mentioned, to avoid it. And you guys can't see right now, but one of my legs is in between. So I cheekily do, I think, a knee bar roll here. Yeah. So I roll over on top and I sweep her with a knee bar roll. Now she's never seen this move before, I don't think. So she gets caught off. But there's a lot of moves that she could have done to me. So someone good right now, well, she is good, but that came out wrong. Hope she's not watching this. Someone with a bit more experience, I should say. As I go for this knee bar roll, they will insert their knee in this little gap here that I leave, which is a huge gap, which is a mistake by me. And they would roll with me to take my back. But in this case, she kind of froze up, so I ended up with the knee bar roll. I bail out of the knee bar roll. I kind of make her go back on top. And again, I was just checking, so I do this to her a lot. I do the same move again, just to see if she'll change her reaction this time. So a lot of times when I'm training with someone of a lower belt, I kind of want them to improve as much as they can. So I often see their kind of foot pattern behind their training. So here we can see I offer her the same move to see her reaction again. And this time she kind of just tries to avoid me from kind of rolling fully. So here she's pulling me backwards, which is an interesting counter, which allows me to just replace guard instead. Now she does end up in a nice little pressure scenario. I kind of base up. She chases the back, which is the correct thing. 2 hooks in, takes my back, but falls off. So there she got a bit too excited, and she was leaning too much forward. Anytime someone's leaning way too much, you can just chuck them off, which is what I did. She didn't have the second hook in, but she falls off. So now it's me passing. Notice how she keeps her leg really high instead of down low. She's a pet peeve of mine. Most people keep their legs like this, which, you know, leads to passing quite easy for me. Thought this was for 12. I think is it 12? Or I might have gotten it wrong. I thought it was 11. I tend to get times wrong. I thought it was 11 last time. That's why I did it 11. Pretty sure it was 11 though. I'm usually the one that's wrong if Steve says it's 11. I didn't get the email, so let me see. It's 11. Yes, Elise. Thank you. First time I'm right. So here I'm trying to avoid grips as much as I can from Kiwi. She's doing, whoops. Perfect. Yeah, I think most of the other classes at 12, but mine's the only one that's 11. Yeah, Steve, what happened to you? He used to be here early every single time. He's rebelling. So I'm on top for now. I'm trying to avoid her grips and her guard as much as I can. So I always keep my arms away. She gets a spider guard. And I'm just speed passing across. Now here, she does a common little thing that she does all the time, which is she really likes this move called knee twist. I think some of you know it. But basically anytime I get past or knee slicer, she tries to sit up for an underhook, and she often does this by going up on her elbow, which is not ideal. So all I do here is as she gets up on the elbow, I take a deep underhook and I pull her towards me. That allows me to flatten her out, and I can get my knee right to her stomach and do my butterfly pass here. She does a bridge to try to avoid it. And replaces guard. I'm still trying to clear the hooks here, but she does a good job and forces me into deep half now. Here we go, Steve's move now. Can't remember what happened here. She goes for the back take, which is very nice of her. So here I'm not putting any weight on her. She sees that. So she starts chasing the back. I notice she's chasing the back and I push the hook, which actually helped her. So that was a real mistake of mine. So here I can push this, right? But I'm kind of helping her to get her hook underneath at the same time. So my attempt here was to push and do a big cartwheel onto that side. But you can see I just don't want to do it. I'm hesitating. So I lose the position here. And here I'm just trying to stop her from taking my back by hugging her knee, just to see if she extends the leg so I can kind of get a little reverse half guard. But she's quite patient. She gets a grip, extends, and takes the back. Now, as soon as I realize she's gonna take my back, I instantly put my hand out to block the choking hand. Okay, now I don't know which is the choking hand yet. You can see she has double underhooks right now. So she has double underhooks here. I don't know which arm she's gonna take to choke me, but as soon as she lets go of one, I already know which one it is. So this is how I kind of counter the chokes from here. So right now I'm not defending my neck because she has double underhooks. As soon as she takes one of them out, I bring my hand up and I beat her to the race. Okay, so here is just because I know a lot, kind of got experience from people taking my back, that I'm able to do this. But like I said, if you can protect something earlier, you're usually kind of safe. And then I go 2-on-1 on the choking hand. She goes back to double underhooks to try to recover. Does a good job here. And gets a really nice little transition to side control here. So there, that was just a nice move from her. I'm trying to force deep half here, but you can see my arm is stuck here. And I need that arm to go underneath her leg to be able to do this. So, looking back on this, I think Kiwi just created a move without knowing, because I've never seen this counter, but it works quite well. So I will try this later. So she's keeping me from doing deep half with that overhook, and then she butterfly hooks my leg and clears her feet. I tried to do a last stuff into half guard, but that was pretty much a real pass there. In terms of technique, I managed to replace guard there. She goes to passing. So whenever I go to competitions or I look at students rolling, this is pretty much all that goes through my head. I'm just kind of seeing the moves they're doing wrong, the moves that they're doing right, stuff that I can learn. So from here, this move is going to be the one I'm going to try or drill next time we train, because it's effective and it works. It worked really well. But yeah. If you guys confused about anything, just tell me to pause and I'll look back into it. Alright. So start again. I sit up just to get grips, because she doesn't let me get grips anymore from sitting like this. Steps over, I'm forced to reverse the Lahiva. This is just a reverse the Lahiva move here, where if she's standing, I'm gonna grab the heel and I'm gonna kind of rewind to the Lahiva. You guys will see. I'm gonna put my foot onto her thigh, kind of twist to the other side, and now I'm back in De La Riva. She's pushing my De La Riva hook straight away. I'm trying to stop her from stepping over my leg as much as I can. She goes for her underhook here. She's enjoying this. So you see, she underhooks my De La Riva hook. And again, I think I'm forced to give up on my De La Riva there. Over unders attempt from her. Try to spin underneath. Kind of get stuck here. Here's another move. I was kind of seeing if she'd remember. We've been drilling back takes from this kind of stack position. And she's not remembering right now. Let's see if she remembers. I can't. I think here she remembers now. Yes. You can see me saying yay. So you can hear it. There it is. So that's the pretzel bolo entry. She gets a bit lazy here and just thinks she doesn't have the back, but she does. And here I'm just explaining to her what to do. So one more time. I'm stacked, so all she has to do is dive underneath to do a pretzel bolo there. But she wasn't quick enough, basically. See what else happens. This is me passing now. I'm trying to do no pressure pass on her. Only speed passes. And this is just me changing directions from side to side. Trying to find an opening. She's able to lock me down and slow me down by going to sitting guard. I do a quick back step. Long step. Step over. Try to go for berimbolo here. She does a good job avoiding it. And she comes up on stop. I get the La Riva here. She pushes my hook down again. You can see a pattern going on now. So I know next time we're rolling, right? The thing I'm going to work on is stopping her from underhooking my leg. Because you can see she's gotten me with it about 3 times already. And during the row, I'm not able to stop it. So next time we're training, probably 1 month from now, I'm gonna try to remember and kind of find an answer to this if I can. So now she likes dropping onto her knee like this when she's tired or when she's stuck. And this is a nice little X entry that I can do. So I look to underhook the leg, kind of off balance her to the side. So I can go, you can go knee bars, you can go lots of real moves. But she just accepts it and I end up on top. Try to do a diving berimbolo, she shrimps out. She goes over unders. I think here she just windchills her foot out, trying to push and replace. She goes knee slice to a leg drag. into leg weave. That was a free combo. Into a pass. So I think we've been doing that combination a lot in the dummy training. That she basically just did all those moves. And that's it. So if we kind of roll often, I'll kind of film my progress for you guys, so you can see what we've been working on, and it'll be interesting to see what we come up with the answers from the next row. But whenever I'm kind of training, this is usually how I train. I'm looking at things that I did wrong, or a student did wrong, or things we're struggling with. Right now, we're kind of specifically working on passing and kind of guarding. So you can see our side control isn't very good, our mount isn't very good at the moment because we're not doing any of that. So every time we get side control, we kind of back away and let the person replace. But that's how you kind of create good training partners. You're improving yourself and the person to get better rows out of everything, instead of just smashing them, which Kiwi can do to me. Cool? Any questions? Guys, it was lovely seeing everyone again. I think the next one is on Monday. It's Monday or Tuesday, I think it's Monday. But I'm gonna try to film some new lessons as well. I'm gonna try to do the things that I've been working on now instead of a kind of usual lesson plan like this, because I think we did most of the major kind of beginner programs. I think we've got a really nice beginner program on YouTube already. So I'm gonna stick to just kind of passing and guarding for a bit. No problem, brother. Anytime. And if you guys are new, again, all the lessons are on YouTube from time, and you can skip those, so there's less rambling. If you ever need any of the PowerPoints that I have, just message me privately and I'll send it to you. But yeah, cool. Guys, have a lovely Friday, and I'll see you all on Monday. Take care.